I Am That talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 20. The Supreme is beyond all. All desires aim at happiness. Their shape and quality depend on the psyche. Where inertia predominates, we find perversions. With energy, passions arise. With lucidity, the motive behind the desire is goodwill, compassion, and the urge to make happy rather than be happy. The Supreme is beyond all. Yet, because of its infinite permeability, all cogent desires can be fulfilled. Questioner. You say reality is one. Oneness, unity, is the attribute of the person. Is then reality a person with the universe as its body? Maharaj. Whatever you say will be both true and false. Words do not reach beyond the mind. Questioner. I'm just trying to understand. You're telling us of the person, the self, and the Supreme. The light of pure awareness, focused as I am in the self, as consciousness, illuminates the mind, and life vitalizes the body. All this is fine as far as the words go, but when it comes to distinguishing in myself the person from the self and the self from the Supreme, I get mixed up. Maharaj, the person is never the subject. You can see a person, but you are not the person. You are always the Supreme, which appears at a given point of time and space as the witness, a bridge between the pure awareness of the Supreme and the manifold consciousness of the person. Questioner. When I look at myself, I find I am several persons fighting amongst themselves for the use of the body. Maharaj. They correspond to the various tendencies of the mind. Questioner. Can I make peace with them? Maharaj. How can you? They are so contradictory. See them as they are, mere habits of thoughts and feelings, bundles of memories and urges. Questioner. Yet they all say, I am. Maharaj. It is only because you identify yourself with them. Once you realize whatever appears before you cannot be yourself and cannot say, I am. You are free of all your persons and their demands. The sense I am is your own. You cannot part with it, but you can impart anything. You can impart it to anything, as in saying, I am young, I am rich, and so on. But such self-identifications are patently false and the cause of bondage. Questioner. I can now understand that I am not the person, but that which, when reflected in the person, gives it a sense of being. Now, what about the Supreme? In what way do I know myself as the Supreme? Maharaj. The source of consciousness cannot be an object in consciousness. To know the source is to be the source. When you realize that you are not the person, but the pure and calm witness, and that fearless awareness is your very being. You are the being. It is the source, the inexhaustible possibility. Questioner. Are there many sources or one for all? Maharaj. It depends on how you look at it. In other words, from which end? The objects in the world are many, but the eye that sees them is one. The higher always appears as one to the lower, and the lower as many to the higher. Questioner: shapes and names are all of one and the same God? Maharaj: again, it all depends on how you look at it. On the verbal level, everything is relative. Absolutes should be experienced, not discussed. Questioner: how is the absolute experienced? Maharaj: it is not an object to be recognized and stored up in memory. Rather, it is the present and in feeling. It has more to do with the how than with the what. It is the quality in the value, being the source of everything. It is in everything. Questioner: if it is the source, why and how does it manifest itself? Maharaj: it gives birth to consciousness. All else is in consciousness. Questioner: why are there so many centers of consciousness? Maharaj: the objective universe is in constant movement, projecting and dissolving innumerable forms. Whenever a form is infused with life, consciousness appears by reflection of awareness in matter. Questioner: how is the Supreme affected? Maharaj: what can affect it and how? The source is not affected by vagaries of the river, nor is the mental by the shape of the jewelry. Is the light affected by the picture on the screen? The Supreme makes everything possible. That is all. Questioner: how is it that some things do happen and some do not? Maharaj: seeking out causes is a pastime of the mind. There is no duality of cause and effect. Everything is its own cause. Questioner: no purposeful action is then possible? Maharaj: all I say is that consciousness contains all. In consciousness, all is possible. You have causes if you want them in your will. Another may be content with a single cause, God's will. The root cause is one, the sense I am. What is the link? Questioner: what is the link between the self and the Supreme? Maharaj: from the self's point of view, the world is the known, the Supreme the unknown. The unknown gives birth to the known, yet remains unknown. The known is infinite, but the unknown is an infinitude of infinities. Just like a ray of light is never seen unless intercepted by the specks of dust, so does the Supreme make everything known while remaining unknown itself. Questioner: does it mean that the unknown is inaccessible? Maharaj: oh no, the Supreme is the easiest to reach, for it is your very being. It is enough to stop thinking and desiring anything but the Supreme. Questioner: and if I desire nothing, not even the Supreme? Maharaj: then you are as good as dead, or you are the Supreme. Questioner: the world is full of desires. Everybody wants something or other. Who is the desirer? The person or the self? Maharaj: the self. All desires, holy and unholy come from the self. They all hang on the sense I am. Questioner. I can understand holy desires emanating from the self. It may be the expression of the bliss aspect of the being awareness, happiness of the self. But why unholy desires? Maharaj. All desires aim at happiness. Their shape and quality depend on the psyche. Where inertia predominates, we find perversions. With energy, passions arise. With lucidity, the motive behind the desire is goodwill, compassion, the urge to make happy rather than be happy. The Supreme is beyond all, yet because of its infinite permeability, all cogent desires can be fulfilled. Questioner. Which desires are cogent? Maharaj. Desires that destroy their subjects or objects or do not subside on satisfaction are self-contradictory and cannot be fulfilled. Only desires motivated by love, goodwill, and compassion are beneficial to both the subject and object can be fully satisfied. Questioner. All desires are painful, the holy as well as the unholy. Maharaj. They are not the same, and pain is not the same. Passion is painful, compassion never. The entire universe strives to fulfill a desire born of compassion. Questioner. Does the Supreme know itself? Is the impersonal conscious? Maharaj. The source of all has all. Whatever flows from it must be there already in seed form. And as a seed is the last of innumerable seeds contains the experience and the promise of numberless forests, so does the unknown contain all that was or could have been and all that shall or would be. The entire field of becoming is open and accessible. The past and future coexist in the eternal now. Questioner. Are you living in the supreme unknown? Maharaj. Where else? Questioner. What makes you say so? Maharaj. No desire ever arises in my mind. Questioner. Are you then unconscious? Are you then unconscious? Maharaj. Of course not. I am fully conscious, but since no desire or fear enters my mind, there is perfect silence. Questioner. Who knows the silence? Maharaj. Silence knows itself. It is the silence of the silent mind. When passions and desires are silenced. Questioner. Do you experience desires occasionally? Maharaj. Desires are just waves in the mind. You know a wave when you see one. A desire is just one thing among many. I feel no urge to satisfy it. No action needs to be taken on it. Freedom from desire means this. The compulsion to satisfy is absent. Questioner. Why do desires arise at all? Maharaj. Because you imagine that you were born and that you will die if you do not take care of your body. Desire for embodied existence is the root cause of trouble. Questioner. Yet so many jivas get into bodies. Surely it cannot be some error of judgment. There must be a purpose. What could it be? Maharaj. To know itself, the self must be faced with its opposite, the non-self. Desire leads to experience. Experience leads to discrimination, detachment, self-knowledge, and liberation. And what is liberation after all? To know that you are beyond birth and death. By forgetting who you are and imagining yourself a mortal creature, you create so much trouble for yourself that you have to wake up as from a bad dream. Inquiry also wakes you up. You need not wait for suffering. Inquiry into happiness is better, for the mind is in harmony and at peace. Questioner. Who exactly is the ultimate experiencer? The self or the unknown? Maharaj. The self, of course. Questioner. Then why introduce the notion of the supreme unknown? Maharaj. To explain the self. Questioner. But is there anything beyond the self? Maharaj. Outside the self, there is nothing. All is one, and all is contained in I am. In the waking and dreaming states, it is the person. In deep sleep and turiya, it is the self. Beyond the alert intentness of turiya lies the great, silent peace of the Supreme. But in fact, all is one in essence and related in appearance. In ignorance, the seer becomes the seen, and in wisdom, he is seeing. But why be concerned with the Supreme? Know the knower, and all will be known. I Am That talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 21. Who am I? Give up all questions except one. Who am I? After all, the only fact you are sure of is that you are. The I am is certain. The I am this is not. Struggle to find out what you are in reality. Questioner. We are advised to worship reality personified as God or as the perfect man. We are told not to attempt the worship of the Absolute because it is too difficult for a brain-centered consciousness. Maharaj. Truth is simple and open to all. Why do you complicate it? Truth is loving and lovable. It includes all, accepts all, purifies all. It is untruth that is difficult and a source of trouble. It always wants, expects, and demands. Being false, it is empty, always in search of confirmation and reassurance. It is afraid of and avoids inquiry. It identifies itself with any support, however weak and momentary. Whatever it gets, it loses and asks for more. Therefore, put no faith in the conscious. You can see, feel, and think is so, or think is so. Even sin and virtue, merit and demerit, are not what they appear to be. Usually, the bad and the good are a matter of convention and custom, and are shunned or welcome according to how the words are used.
Questioner. Are there not good desires and bad, high desires and low? Maharaj. All desires are bad, but some are worse than others. Pursue any desire and it will always give you trouble. Questioner. Even the desire to be free from desire? Maharaj. Why desire at all? Desiring is the state of freedom. From desire will not set you free. Nothing can set you free because you are free. See yourself with desirelessness, clarity. That is all. Questioner. It takes time to know oneself. Maharaj. How can time help you? Time is a succession of moments. Each moment appears out of nothing and disappears into nothing, never to reappear. How can you build on something so fleeting? Questioner. What is permanent? Maharaj. Look to yourself for the permanent. Dive deep within and find what is real in you. Questioner. How do I look for myself? Maharaj. Whatever happens, it happens to you. Whatever you do, the doer is in you. Find the subject of all that you are as a person. Questioner. What else can I be? Maharaj. Find out. Even if I tell you that you are the witness, the silent watcher, it will mean nothing to you unless you find the way to your own being. Questioner. My question is, how does one find the way to one's own being? Maharaj. Give up all questions except one. Who am I? After all, the only fact you are sure of is that you are. The I am is certain. The I am this is not. Struggle to find out what you are in reality. Questioner. I have been doing nothing else for the last 60 years. Maharaj. What's wrong with striving? Why look for results? Striving itself is your real nature. Questioner. Striving is painful. Maharaj. You make it so by seeking results. Strive without seeking. Struggle without greed. Questioner. Why has God made me as I am? Maharaj. Which God are you talking about? What is God? Is he not the very light by which you ask the question? I am itself is God. The seeking itself is God. In seeking, you discover that you are neither the body nor the mind. And the love of the self is in you for the self in all. The two are one, the consciousness in you and the consciousness in me. Apparently two, really one. Seek unity, and that is love. Questioner. How am I to find that love? Maharaj. What do you love now? The I am. Give your heart and mind to it. Think of nothing else. This, when effortless and natural, is the highest state. In it, love itself is the lover and the beloved. Questioner. Everybody wants to live, to exist. Is it not self-love? Maharaj. All desire has its source in the self. It is all a matter of choosing the right desire. Questioner. What is right and what is wrong varies with habit and custom. Standards vary with societies. Maharaj. Discard all traditional standards. Leave them to the hypocrites. Only what liberates you from desire and fear and wrong ideas is good. As long as you worry about sin and virtue, you will have no peace. Questioner. I grant that sin and virtue are social norms, but there may also be spiritual sins and virtues. By spiritual, I mean the absolute. Is there such thing as absolute sin or absolute virtue? Maharaj. Sin and virtue refer to a person only. Without a sinful or virtuous person, what is sin or virtue? At the level of the absolute, there are no persons. The ocean of pure awareness is neither virtuous nor sinful. Sin and virtue are invariably relative. Questioner. Can I do away with such unnecessary notions? Maharaj. Not as long as you think yourself to be a person. Questioner. By what sign shall I know that I am beyond sin and virtue? Maharaj. By being free from all desire and fear, from the very idea of being a person. To nourish the ideas I am a sinner or I am not a sinner is sin. To identify oneself with the particular is all the sin there is. The impersonal is real. The personal appears and disappears. I am is the impersonal being. I am this is the person. The person is relative, and the pure being, the fundamental. Question. Surely pure being is not unconscious, nor is it devoid of discrimination. How can it be beyond sin and virtue? Just tell us, please. Has it intelligence or not? Maharaj. All these questions arise from your believing yourself to be a person. Go beyond the personal and see. Questioner. What exactly do you mean when you ask me to stop being a person? Maharaj. I do not ask you to stop being. That you cannot. I ask you only to stop imagining that you were born, have parents, are a body, will die, and so on. Just try. Make a beginning. It's not as hard as you think. Questioner. To think of oneself as the personal is the sin of the impersonal. Maharaj. Again, the personal point of view. Why do you insist on polluting the impersonal with your ideas of sin and virtue? It just does not apply. The impersonal cannot be described in terms of good and bad. It is being, wisdom, love, all absolute. Where is the scope for sin there? And virtue is only the opposite of sin. Questioner. We talk of divine virtue. Maharaj. True virtue is divine nature. What you are really is your virtue. But the opposite of sin, which you call virtue, is only obedience born out of fear. Questioner. Then why all the effort at being good? Maharaj. It keeps you on the move. You go on and on until you find God. Then God takes you into himself and makes you as he is. Questioner. The same action is considered natural at one point and a sin at another. What makes it sinful? Maharaj. Whatever you do against your better knowledge is sin. Questioner. Knowledge depends on memory. Maharaj. Remembering yourself is virtue. Forgetting yourself is sin. It all boils down to the mental or psychological link between the spirit and matter. We may call the link psyche. When the psyche is raw, undeveloped, quite primitive, it is subject to gross illusions. As it grows in breadth and sensitivity, let me say that again. As it grows in breadth and sensitivity, it becomes a perfect link between pure matter and pure spirit, and gives meaning to matter and expression to spirit. There is the material world and the spiritual. Between lies the universal mind, which is also the universal heart. It is wise love that makes the two one. Questioner. Some people are stupid, some are intelligent. The difference is in their psyche. The right ones have more experience behind them, just like a child grows by eating and drinking, sleeping and playing. So is man's psyche, shaped by all he thinks and feels and does, until it is perfect enough to serve as a bridge between the spirit and the body. Just as a bridge permits traffic between the banks, so does the psyche bring together the source and its expression. Maharaj. Call it love. The bridge is love. Questioner. Ultimately, all is experience. Whether we think, feel, or do is experience. Behind it is the experiencer. So, all we know consists of these two, the experiencer and the experience. But the two are really one. The experiencer alone is the experience. Still, the experiencer takes the experience to be outside. In the same way, the spirit and the body are one. They only appear as two. Maharaj. To the spirit, there is no second. Questioner. To whom then does the second appear? It seems to me that duality is an illusion induced by the imperfection of the psyche. When the psyche is perfect, duality is no longer seen. Maharaj, you have said it. Questioner. Still, I have to repeat my very simple question. Who makes the distinction between sin and virtue? Maharaj. He who has a body sins with the body. He who has a mind sins with the mind. Questioner. Surely, the mere possession of mind and body does not compel one to sin. There must be a third factor at the root of it. I come back again and again to this question of sin and virtue because these days young people keep saying that there is no such thing as sin, that one need not be squeamish and should follow the moment's desire readily. They will accept neither tradition nor authority and can be influenced only by solid and honest thought. If they refrain from certain actions, it is through fear of police rather than by conviction. Undoubtedly, there is something in what they say, for we can see how our values change from place to place and time to time. For instance, killing in a war is a great virtue today and may be considered a horrible crime the next century. Maharaj. A man who moves with the earth will necessarily experience days and night. He who stays with the sun will know no darkness. My will is not yours. As I see it, you all are on a stage performing. There is no reality about your comings and goings, and your problems are so unreal. Questioner. We may be sleepwalkers or subject to nightmares. Is there nothing you can do? Maharaj. I am doing something. I did enter your dreamlike state to tell you, stop hurting yourself and others. Stop suffering. Wake up. Questioner. Why then don't we wake up? Maharaj. You will. I shall not be thwarted. It may take some time. When you begin to question your dream, awakening will not be far away.